So dudes, welcome to Operation Heavy Metal. Not metal like Megadeth, metal like kettle, which is something that Europeans use to make water really hot. In Operation Something in the Way, meet Ram, Team Rainbow's new Nirvana enthusiast. Her new gadget is a fucking king tiger! I'm just kidding. It's the Boogie Auto Breacher. A bulletproof machine that drives forward upon activation, eviscerating everything in its wake. So if you end up losing the round because of some state-of-the-art vertical play, you'd have to just blame it on the Boogie. Anyway, the goats at Ubisoft were nice enough to let me play Heavy Metal early. Ram gets 4 Boogie tanks. Thrown tanks indicate where they are going to travel with a bright line that is visible both for yourself and teammates. The tank can be guided in a straight line or curved to the left or to the right. Select the direction you'd like the tank to go, then hit the switch and then the tank will start driving. Anything relatively close to it from all directions that can be damaged will take damage or be outright destroyed. Soft floors below, walls to its side, even floorboards in the ceiling above are no match for the Boogie. Neither is barbed wire. Deployable shields, even Aruni gates, will short circuit without outright destroying the Boogie as it keeps driving forward. Mozzie pests can't catch the Boogie, as it is not considered a drone. And mute jammers will only affect the Boogie under select circumstances. When the drone is set like this, not moving, the only electronic considered jammable is the wireless ignition switch on Ram's person that she activates. Alright, now I can't activate it. If the Boogie is moving, it can't be jammed. It is an unstoppable force, and the mute jammer is not an immovable object. Same thing with Solus, who can see the drones just before they are set to go. The only major weakness the Boogie tank has is a gas canister on the back that can be shot out. And they are not explosive proof. Nitros and impacts will take care of them as well. The Boogie is probably one of the biggest single gadgets I've seen in Rainbow Six Siege. It dwarfs every drone in the game by a sizable margin, like a big Titan spaceship from EVE Online. It runs on tracks and gasoline and makes a ton of noise.
Still coming hallway. Nobody inside. You can hop in. You can hop in. Hold your door.
What do you mean? There was just somebody inside.
Oh, he ran around. He ran around.
Are you joking?
Okay, all 3 side now. All 3 side.
All right, I'm planting. That's great cover for the plant. Oh my god.
So much so that you can't hear audio cues for Jack's squat, and attackers can certainly take advantage of that to make plays. As you can see, the Boogie can be thrown not much of a distance, but some distance nonetheless, which is somewhat remarkable considering it seems quite heavy. Maybe it's not that remarkable for Ram, considering she definitely does not keep deadlifts out of her routine. Regardless, this gives her the ability to toss the gadget from windows, skylights, and across various sight lines without exposing herself. The gadget can work in a variety of situations. It's obviously amazing at getting verticality going, but it's also great at general area denial too. Throw a Boogie down elbow for an Oregon bunker take, and whoever's playing there is bound to lose their utility. The tank also makes a ton of noise, like I said, and can be used as a distraction.
Boogie's up!
Oh. Here's a marking. Strafe.
He's dropping hit.
On top of being the new, most efficient verticality operator in the game, Ram either has the R4C or the LMGE with zoomed-in optics, plus a secondary shotgun and can openers. She brings all of this stuff to the table, so she's a 3-armor, but when you consider the amount of plays you can make with this character, it's kind of silly to assume that such a thing will have an overtly negative impact on her performance. There isn't a lot in terms of balance changes this patch, but there are a few big picture changes to know about. One that I think a lot of people may find controversial is a drastic change to Legion's mines. Legion's goos have lost their cloak and instead have a small but significant damage buff, dealing 5 damage at the rip and then 12 damage per tick if you don't pull the needle out. The goo mines still have a pretty substantial effective radius around them, and they can be hidden pretty well on staircases and around doorways. I still got some mileage with Legion during the capture build. His T5 SMG remains just as good as it ever was, but he also has a new toy to play with as well. Legion's Super Shorty is definitely going to get him a lot more competitive play, but there is something else to keep in mind about that shotgun. You might think that this guy was on really low health when I got this pick.
There's 2 more out there. 2 more out there.
I can assure you that target had a lot more HP than you might have thought.
I can move further back.
All right, this is 10 meters.
Chest.
Oof.
I'm 51 now. That did like
No way.
4. Yeah.
Mission successful.
Because shotguns have been completely reworked in Operation Heavy Metal. The pellet spread has been tightened up considerably, basically giving every shotgun in the game a lot less RNG with their shots. A tighter choke means more pellets strike, which means more damage for every shotgun across the board. Destructive capabilities of shotguns have also been increased to make sight setup a million times easier than it used to be, the Bailiff in particular. This opens up a ton of possibilities for loadouts in Siege that just weren't really there previously. For example, Solus has received a buff as a result of this. That shotgun on the live build is normally a roulette wheel in terms of one-shot pumps. It can now reliably one-shot targets from 8 meters. So shotguns that were already particularly good are even better too, like the French pump shotgun. Same deal with the M590 on Warden, Smoke, and Mute. I'd go as far to say this update makes shotgun pistol a totally viable way to play the game, even for attackers. If you get caught at long range, you're still not going to win that gunfight, so you'll need to adopt smart positioning and timings, which is what people like about shotguns anyway. This weapon class is more consistent on top of being more fun and a lot more viable than it ever was. I already had a lot of fun using the M870 on Jaeger for blue stairs holds on bank. Now, I think it's going to be even more dangerous. I can't keep yapping without bringing up the final part of the Grim update. Grim's gadget works just as fast and efficiently as it used to, but now it has an alternate fire mode. Grim's B canister can either deploy right away on contact with a surface, or it can bounce off of a surface. It doesn't really get a ton of mileage on shallow angles. Don't expect anything like a Sova dart. But if you bounce it off of a hard angle with a pretty flat trajectory, the canister will get a considerable amount of airtime. Now, instead of needing direct line of sight a lot of the time, Grim can get intel on players without having to directly expose himself, which is really cool. He's great at clearing enemies in highly elevated positions of cover, and he's definitely come into his own in the past couple of seasons. I can confidently say that he's a fun and viable pick for attackers who want to get creative with how they can clear enemies out of bunkered positions. There's been a substantial update to the quick match playlist, and pre-placed reinforcements and rotates have been added to expedite the prep phase. Additionally, Unranked has had its name changed to Standard, which is like a sort of regular mode in between quick match and ranked. I'm probably not going to play it that much. Some modifications have been made to the standard mode, so ranked and unranked will not be the exact carbon copies of each other. As far as Siege matchmaking is concerned, I'm going to be sticking to ranked. I have some more thoughts on Quick Match 2.0 that I will elaborate on in my podcast with Bikini Bodhi. Check that out at the link in the description. Ultimately, I don't really think that training wheels for newer players is a great idea, and that's what the reinforcements and the rotates kind of feel like to me. Ram's addition to the game is going to give attackers a ton of leverage to interface with the destructive aspects of Siege, which is always a lot of fun, because it's one of the game's most iconic design aspects. Without it, Siege just isn't the same. Some people don't like playing vertical. I can understand how it's difficult to think of the game in those terms, but looking at the map from a thorough point of view completely changes your approach to Siege for the better. Strategically minded players are going to appreciate Ram for that aspect of her gadget, and shooters will appreciate the R4C with a 1.5. And guys, if there was ever a time to practice with the R4C, it's definitely now.
How many more Bugattis you got?
Blue?
Blue.
One's bar. Bar dead.
4 last operators.
I think there's something available for everybody here in Operation Heavy Metal. Subscribe for more heavy metal content and give the video a like and share. Thanks for watching this video the whole way through. You're goated. Deuces.